Smarterfan. Everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How you doing, Barry?
I'm doing great. All this stuff happening in New York and all this activity in the sports world, man, it is on and popping, my friend.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I
Absolutely.
mean,
It's exciting.
oh yeah. I mean, the Yankees are going to the World Series for the first time since 2009. You
Hmm.
know, the Mets, they put up a good fight and they had a magical run, but it came to an end, unfortunately. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the Liberty finally got over the hump,
Got
and they're
over it.
gonna, yes, that's right, and they're gonna be going down the Canyon of Heroes.
Woo, it's gonna be a show. It's gonna
Oh,
be a show.
definitely, yeah.
Huge, huge, huge.
And the Giants, well, let's just say that since they didn't want to pay Saquan, he made them pay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Hey,
had.
as I always say, God don't like ugly. You should
That's
have taken
right.
care of him. You didn't take care of him. You rolled the dice on the quarterback, and you're getting what you pay for.
Exactly. And he got pulled from the game.
That's scary.
He got pulled from the game. So, I mean, Saquon, he had 176 yards rushing and
He,
one TD.
he almost put two bills on him.
I'm telling you, man,
He
that was
almost put
tough.
two bills on him. And he probably would have put two plus on him if they had left him in. But they probably figured, we don't want to run up or,
Yeah,
risk getting him injured at the same time. Somebody taking a
right.
cheap shot, you know.
Yeah, especially with him, you know.
Yeah.
And
So
that's all they needed anyway.
yeah, yeah. They rolled the dice, and these are the things that a lot of fans don't understand when you're an athlete, you know, and you suffer an injury and you're trying to come back and you're trying to get paid, and you know, because organizations ultimately do what's best in the organization's interest, but you as an athlete really have to put it on the line. And
Yeah.
sometimes it works for you, and sometimes it doesn't. And you know, so
Yeah.
the Giants are really back at square one, doing what? They got to go get a quarterback.
Yep. Yep. After 6 years. After 6 years. So, well, that's going to be interesting because will the coach and GM be around to select that quarterback?
Yeah, that's a big question. I would probably say probably Dayball has a better chance of being around
Mm,
because he hasn't been able to get the pieces
right.
to put the talent on the field.
So,
But
well,
you know,
we'll just have to see how that plays out. But
absolutely, my friend, absolutely,
all right.
absolutely.
So now we're going to delve back into the memorabilia field. And we're going to bring on a gentleman we've had on before, and he's going to tell us a little more about it. And that is Jeff Santiago.
Oh yeah, bring him on. That's my guy.
How you
Hello,
doing, Jeff?
sir.
Hello, gentlemen. How are
Oh,
you?
good. How are you
Hey.
doing, my friend?
Doing well, doing well. Nice to see you again. Nice to kind of go into finish our trilogy, memorabilia,
Yeah.
memorabilia trilogy,
The f-
episode number 3.
Absolutely, the first of many. I might as well warn you.
Uh,
I might as well warn you.
Anytime, guys.
All
So
right. So, Barry, you had touched on this subject about what was Jeff's holy grail of a signature?
yeah, yeah. I mean, memorabilia is something I love, and I've always wanted to learn more. So, you know, when we talk about signatures, like how do you, what should you get signed? What's the best thing to avoid? You know, what are those gems if you can find them? You know, how do you even verify a signature? If I go to a show and how do I know it actually is that person?
Yeah.
You know, and since we have an expert, Jeff, maybe you can shed some light on that for us.
Absolutely. I could go in. We could talk about that, and I can tell you what I'm working on and what I would like to get. First of all, the only way that you can certify or verify that an autograph is real is if you get it yourself. That's
Oh,
that's the only thing that is 100%. And then when you get it yourself, you have to have somebody else verify it for you. So what a lot of the authentication companies are doing at these autograph shows is that they have someone on site that watches the athlete sign the items, and then for a fee, you go over to them. What they'll do is they'll put a sticker with a number on it on the item, and they'll give you a certificate, and that number goes into their database, and it basically says that
oh, wow.
they witnessed the signature of such and such a person on such and such a date, and it's in their database forever. So if you ever go to sell that item to someone else, or if you're going to put it on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, whatever the case may be, that number and that certificate corresponds to that database. So that is a third party authenticator. That's probably the best way. The other thing is buying from, if you're going to buy on eBay or wherever, you're
Hmm.
going to want to get something that is certified by one of those top companies. There's JSA, there's PSA, there's Beckett. There's probably maybe four or five companies that are the tops in the industry, and you can you can pretty much uh, be assured that if an item is certified by them, that it is going to be good. But there are always forgeries out there, and like I said in one of the previous shows, I've purchased things that had certificates that were forged certificates.
Wow.
So the rule of thumb is if you're buying something and the price seems too good to be true, it most likely is not real.
Okay.
That's usually the case. If somebody's selling a Mickey Mantle ball for $100, chances are it's not going to be a real ball.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, people do fall for these things. Somebody that doesn't know, they want to buy a gift for somebody. They'll see something online somewhere, and they're like, all right, they'll send $100 to somebody, and they'll get a piece of junk. So
Yeah.
basically,
Amazing.
that's the key. Get it yourself, or get it or have it authenticated by a reputable company.
Mm.
Those are basically the main rules. And then like I said in my previous episode, you also want to have, if you're not going to have an oddball item, and we could check back on episode number 2 on
Yeah.
oddball stuff,
Yeah.
guys. If you're not going to have an oddball item, then you want to have a professional item. So a Major League Baseball, Major League Football, Major League Basketball, so on and so forth. You don't want you don't want to get a ball or something that is a knockoff, because the autograph will suffer. It'll bleed. And then if you do try to resell it, people are going to be like, hey, this is not on a professional ball. So you're not going to get top dollar for it. So
Right.
that's that piece. The other thing, and if we could go into really quickly my grail, what I'm looking for is, I
Yeah.
mentioned Aaron Judge in our last show, and I would love to get, I like to tie things together. So I would love to get like a gavel, like a judge's gavel, and have Aaron Judge
Oh,
sign that, right? There's probably millions of balls and bats out there. How many gavels has he signed? I don't
that's
know.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. Now I
Yeah.
gotta ask,
That's what I want.
how would you do that? With just a regular marker on the
Yeah. Oh
brown
yeah. Oh
gavel?
yeah. Always. The rule of thumb is, if you're going to have something signed, you use a Sharpie, right?
Got it.
Preferably
Yeah.
black. Blue is nice too, but black usually holds up the longest. So a
Okay.
black Sharpie, and if it's something that is dark, so if you get, like a black gavel, you'd
Yep.
want to do like a paint pen in gold or silver. And they
Mm.
sell those paint pens in Michaels or any kind of Staples would have them.
Yeah, I got a picture signed by Mudcat Grant that's in the silver.
Yeah.
So instead of the black Sharpie, it would be the silver
Right,
Sharpie.
because you want it to contrast, right? So if you have a
Yep.
dark item like a dark brown or a black, you want to go with silver or gold.
Makes
Any
sense.
other color, you can go blue or black.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
Barry, if you can tell your coach friend to get me a gavel signed by Aaron Judge, I would deeply appreciate it.
Well, I probably will be seeing Mr. Lee. I talk to him every so often, and I probably need to give him a call now that Aaron is in the World Series. And so all things are possible. Things
Yeah.
are just timing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Things are just timing. You'd be surprised.
I know. You never know. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about
Mhm.
is, we've covered in the last two shows. We did a whole show on oddball items. We talked about fun stuff and things. But what I wanted to focus and kind of close out this trilogy with is if you want to make money in the memorabilia business, right? So
Mm.
if you want to invest, what are the best things to invest in? Okay, some people will tell you, oh, you go out and buy 100, Aaron Judge cards. Well, yeah, you might make money, but if Aaron Judge, next year breaks his leg or something, or has a career-ending injury, God forbid, your stuff's going to go down, right? So,
Mhm.
and also like a rookie, right? So, a rookie that has a great year, you don't know what's going to happen that second year, right? You don't know
Yep.
what these kids are going to get into in their personal lives. So, what I
Mm.
always felt that if you want to invest in a collectible, invest in a player that's basically their career is complete, right? They've done it, and the best ones to do that with are people that I consider goats, greatest of all time. And I
Mhm.
have a sampling of some of the players that no matter what you do, you're going to invest in, and they are not going to lose value, right? So the key,
Mm.
like I said, if you're collecting, you always want to collect what you like and what you love, and don't worry about whether it goes up and down in value. But if you want to, put your money somewhere and make sure that you're not going to lose anything with it, and you go with proven commodities, right? So you just saw a Joe Namath jersey.
Mhm.
Joe Namath may not have been the world's greatest quarterback, okay?
Mhm.
His statistics are probably borderline Hall of Fame, statistic wise,
Mhm.
but Joe Namath is probably the most collectible football player out there.
Wow.
Okay,
Mm.
because he played in New York. He was a
Yep.
movie star. He was a good-looking guy. There was this aura around him. He may have had maybe 2 or 3 fantastic years, but he won the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl. He made the prediction. All of the stuff around Joe Namath is like
Yep.
is it. There's an aura around Broadway Joe. So
Definitely.
his autograph is really nice. He's a really really good person to meet when he's signing. He's getting up in years, but as far as rookie cards, Joe Namath rookie card is one of the top football rookie cards that you can get because
Mm.
of he is so popular, right?
Mm.
Mm. Yeah.
You can't I mean, statistically, you can't compare him to Peyton Manning, for example, right? Since Peyton
Mhm.
Manning blows him away statistically, but there's no way you can compare Joe Namath to Peyton Manning as far as collectibles are concerned. There are
Mm.
Joe Namath dolls. There are Joe Namath, there's Joe Namath everything out there in the collectible world. Sports Illustrated magazines, you name it, go with Joe Namath, right?
Got it.
If
Mm.
you're going to collect soccer, for example, you got to go with Pele, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
more iconic than a Pele soccer ball. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I got that soccer ball maybe 20 years ago. I paid up like $100 for it. Back
Wow.
then. Okay. That ball right now, and you see the little hologram between the tiger and the
Mm-hmm.
signature. That's what I
Yes.
was talking about. That's the authentication, right? So
Got
that's
it.
authenticated by a third party. There's a number there that ball is in that database.
Mm.
Now
Okay.
that soccer ball is probably 500, 600, maybe $700 now since he passed away.
Mm.
Wow.
So I mean, you know, where can you get 5x return on something? You might even get $1,000 for it if you get somebody who's
Yep.
soccer crazy because it's such a beautiful, clean signature on a
Right.
on a soccer ball. So
Mm.
you know, and then there's the king, right? Babe Ruth. Can you? I mean,
Yeah.
Babe Ruth. Now you can go crazy here with dollars. Okay, this is a Babe Ruth ball that was signed in 1929. It's
Mm.
authenticated. I have a letter of authentication. But as you can see, the signature is a little faded and it's got that staining on the side. This was the best one that I could afford.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, if it didn't have that fading on it and it didn't have that staining on it, that ball could be worth 50,000, 60,000. I mean, I've seen some Babe
Wow.
Ruth balls that are clear and clean go for $100,000, right?
Wow.
That one is nowhere near that. It's maybe like that ball is probably worth 10% of that, but that is never going to go down in value. Okay. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 10 years from now, when my kids have this ball, it will definitely have doubled in value, if not more.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm.
Babe
Yeah.
Ruth's not going anywhere, and anybody that collects autographs or baseball autographs or Yankee autographs wants a Babe Ruth signature, right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Cobb is another one. Okay, now Ty Cobb is a little bit controversial because for 50 years I would not collect anything Ty Cobb. Okay, he was a great player, but all of the racism and all of the crazy things that surrounded his story, I
Mm.
was like, you know, hey, I'm not going to collect somebody who was a bigot or who was a racist or you know a Klansman or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did some research on Ty Cobb, and there was a book that came out last year that basically debunked all of those stories.
Really?
90%
Mm.
of that stuff was made up by this biographer that you know went around with him towards the end of his career, and a lot of those stories are not true. Okay, once I
Mm.
Mm.
saw that, I was like, okay, I got to have something Ty Cobb. All right, so this is a picture that has a cut on the bottom. Right
Yeah.
back then, in those days, people didn't sign pictures. It was very very rare, but they did sign autographed books or postcards or letters. And what happened is those cuts, and those are called cuts, have survived, right? People have cut them out, put them in autographed books or preserved them. And now you can get an item like this, which with a nice 11 by 14 picture, and you have a cut signature on there. And this has also been certified. And again, this is another one. Like Ty Cobb is always going to be Ty Cobb. His value is not going to go down. And for me personally, um, since I discovered that he really wasn't as bad a person. I mean, he was a fierce guy. Don't get me wrong, and he got into a lot of fights and he got into a lot of trouble. But he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the animal that they made him out to be.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
finally added something to my collection with Ty Cobb, and this was it. I also have, there's also another GOAT that you can never go wrong with, and that's Muhammad Ali, right? I've
Oh yeah.
spoken to
Oh
you
yeah.
guys about Ali. I've met him a few times, but like, what is more iconic than having in your man cave a boxing glove signed by Muhammad
Yeah.
There
Can't
isn't.
go wrong.
Ali? It's
Yeah.
beautiful. You can't go wrong. That glove I've had for over 20 years. The glove itself maybe cost me like $40 at the time, and the signature maybe cost me 50 or $60. This is like 20 years ago. That glove is worth maybe $1,500 now, maybe $2,000 now,
Yeah.
right? So
Wow.
You're winning.
I'm winning, right? That like I've had some clunkers too, but with this stuff, I'm winning. And then you can get memorabilia associated with goats. Now, there's a ticket stub. I don't know if you guys have the picture, but there it is. Okay, so what that is that is a full unused ticket of the second fight against Sonny Liston.
Wow.
Okay, that second fight is the one that produced that picture of Ali standing over him, kind of like telling him to get up.
Yeah, that was the Phantom Punch.
The Phantom Punch, right? So that ticket stub is unused. Okay, I don't know how somebody didn't go to the fight, right? And it has been authenticated, and you can see it's sealed, right? So that is a full mint 9. You can see the grading on the side, and it says 1965 boxing, May 25th, Ali versus Liston, Phantom Punch, first fight as Muhammad Ali. So something like that there's probably a handful out there in the world. Well, first of all, somebody bought that ticket and didn't go. Second of all, they kept it in perfect condition for 60 years, right? And how can you go wrong?
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. And most people that I show that ticket to, they go like, "Wow!" When I saw it, I was like, "I gotta have that." And I, finagled my way and I figured out a way to getting it. But again, it's a goat. This is not a ticket to
Riverdance.
Iglesias, the second baseman for the Mets, who's having a great year, but who knows where he's going to be next year, right? This is Muhammad Ali. So, and then I also go for the oddball goats, right? So, like, I was like, okay, I want to cover baseball, and I got football, and I've got hockey. So I've got a Wayne Gretzky puck, right? You can't go wrong with Wayne Gretzky. And if you want to go old school, you can go Gordie Howe. Yeah. Pucks are nice. They display really nicely, just like baseballs.
Yeah.
And again, goats. Yeah. But I said, who is the greatest bowler of all time? Right?
Oh, wow.
Joe knows this, right? It's Earl Anthony. Who the hell knows who Earl Anthony is, right? But I've got an actual bowling pin signed by Earl Anthony.
Oh, wow.
Didn't cost me a lot of money, but he probably is the greatest bowler of all time. I think he's got the most titles or something like that.
Was that the Pro Bowlers Tour?
Was
he part of the Pro Bowlers Tour?
Yeah. He was like world champ for many, many years. I used to watch him on Wide World of Sports and like when I was a kid. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's an Earl Anthony pin, and it's like that is that's something that is probably the greatest bowler ever, and that's an item that probably cost me like $75 or $80. Right? Now, I don't know if that's going to go up in value, guys, to be honest with you, right? But he's part of my GOAT collection.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you're into bowling, now someday there might be a greatest of all time. What is that game now that they play with the sandbags cornhole?
Oh, cornhole. Yeah. Oh, God.
So at some point, the greatest cornholer will be crowned. I'm gonna get that cornhole bag signed. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So again, just to tidy it up, right? You gotta have common sense in this stuff, right? If you want to make money and you want to invest, you invest in quality, right? You want to get the best item, the signed by the best people, right? It's just like the art world, right? If you're gonna collect art, you're going to want Picasso. You're going to want Monet, Salvador Dali. You're going to want the names where your investment is not going to go down, right? It's either going to stay where it is, or it's going to go up in value, right? And but of course, the number one rule is always you have to collect what you like. So just don't go out and buy something.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is buying it even if it is a GOAT, right? So even if it is, the greatest of something, and you don't particularly care for that person, like right now, Shohei Ohtani is not really on my good list, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
They just beat my Mets, so I'm not going out and getting any Ohtani stuff anytime soon. Even though he's probably the GOAT right now, it's between him and Judge. But guess what? It's not going to bring me any joy to have a Ohtani anything in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
I might change my mind in 10 years or 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
but again, collect what you like, right?
Makes sense.
I'm a Met fan, but half of my stuff is Yankee stuff because I like, my second favorite player was Lou Gehrig, and I love Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio, and I respect the sport. You see Babe back there in the Lipton tea commercial thing. You see that big head back there over this shoulder right there? That's
Hmm.
Babe Ruth in a
Yeah.
big
Oh, yeah. I
Lipton
see
tea
that.
thing that
Yeah.
was in the store.
So,
Uh,
so
so even though it's not the team that I root for, I respect the players,
Yeah.
and so you know
well,
that's the story.
let me
And
ask you this: what is the rarest signature that you have?
rarest, I really
Hmm.
don't really have that many rare things, Joe. Like I don't have like a Joe Jackson or something like that, or somebody that's like impossible to get because you start getting into like, ridiculous money in those things,
Hmm.
right? I
Yeah.
do have a Joe Louis,
Hmm.
again, another GOAT, and I think you guys have a picture of it. It's a cut signature from a book that he signed. There it is. There was like a scorecard or something at a game that he signed,
Hmm.
and somebody cut it out, and then they had sent it to Beckett, and they had it encapsulated and certified. So that's Joe
Hmm.
Lewis's autograph, and I keep that right on top of the Muhammad Ali glove. So I have, so in boxing I have Ali, I have Joe Louis, I have Joe Frazier, I have Mike Tyson, I have Larry Holmes, and I have George
Hmm.
Foreman. So I got the big guys, the guys that I saw fight, and the ones
Right.
that I heard about.
Hmm.
Obviously I never saw Joe Louis, but so that is that. I mean, that's not an easy signature, so that is pretty rare. I
Hmm.
also have a ball signed by Mel Ott. He was a slugger from the Giants in the 30s. So I have that. You
Hmm.
guys don't have a picture of that, so I would consider that uh,
Hmm.
difficult. But I don't
Yeah.
have anything crazy like somebody that like there's like Joe Jackson. I think there's only like 4 or 5
Hmm. Well,
authenticated
well,
signatures. So
all of this has been very, very enlightening, and
thank
Yeah.
you. It's
we
been a
Yeah.
lot
we
of fun talking about it too, guys.
definitely. So we got to have you back to do some of this stuff again because you got so much stuff we could just go over. So we'll have to,
Anytime, guys.
yeah, sometime in the near future we'll have to do this again. So, but
Absolutely.
No, no, Joe, we got to nail them down. I want the next topic we're going to talk about are rings,
mhm.
memorabilia rings, Jeff.
Mm.
What light you
Okay.
can shed on memorabilia rings? The
Well,
because you got authentic, and then you have um,
Replica.
replica, and is it worth it and all that? I told you, Joe, when you told me about Jeff, I told you I was going to try to nail him as long as we could keep him. I'm going to try to keep him. So
all
that is
right.
what we're going to actually talk about because I have a number of friends and we're headed to a big show. Because Jeff, just so that you know, we're going to do another show with you, a couple shows with you, and then
Mhm.
I'm going to bring on some other memorabilia guys, and then we're going to do with all three of you on the show together.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
well,
we're
that
working
sounds
on
like a
some stuff,
plan.
Joe. We're
All
working
right.
on some stuff.
Well,
Absolutely. But you're the
When you
kickoff.
talk about rings, guys, that's the ultimate in there's two things that are top in collecting. It's player rings
Mm-hmm.
and game used uniforms.
Oh,
mm,
wow.
Big money. I unfortunately only have a little touch on those things. Unfortunately, it's not in my budget. But
yeah.
the just to let you know, the called shot Babe Ruth uniform
Yeah, I
Went
heard
for
about that.
went for like what was it, $100 million or something
What?
ridiculous, like 40
Some
million.
crazy number.
It was a ridiculous number. Like it broke every record for every kind of memorabilia you can imagine. I have the exact number when we meet, but it was like the biggest. There was a Mantle rookie card that went for $14 million last year, 14.5 million.
Jeez.
This broke the record. I think it went for 40 or 50. I don't know. It's a ridiculous amount. So you can see, imagine.
Well, we'll have to revisit all of this again, definitely.
Definitely.
But for now, we have to say goodnight.
Good night, guys. Thank you
Jeff,
again.
thanks again, and see you
Thanks a
soon,
lot,
my
Jeff.
friend.
You got it. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Smarterfan.